It is Rise of the Beast time, and I'm very, very excited. So I typically don't review brand new Transformers toys. I typically leave that to, other channels. I talk about older, weirder stuff. However, I got to this Rise of the Beast Cheetor in the mail today, really early from Amazon. It's my first Rise of the Beast toy. It's so kind of trippy getting something like this. I love new Transformers movie stuff. I always do. And I typically don't get, like, super excited. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's a new figure, it's really cool, but given how early I have this, and also how much I love it, I really, really wanted to make a video. So when this thing was revealed just a few weeks ago, I thought it looked super cool. I know that some people have their complaints with the design, and I just want to establish that a lot of complaints that certain collectors have about certain aspects of the Transformers, toy realm, I don't share. Fake vehicle mode parts in the robot, all that kind of stuff, don't care. Hollow bits, don't care. Missing paint, usually don't care. Sometimes I do. There's so many little complaints and things that many other Transformers collectors have that are entirely irrelevant for me. So there may be things in this review, in this video, that you see as a major problem that I just don't. This is my opinion, but I'm trying to show all the features, and you might form your own opinion. But my opinion on this thing is that I love it, and it's my favorite Cheetor figure, and I adore it. It's great. I love the design. I think it's super cool. I love it. Anyways, I typically don't show the boxes, but I wanted to show the box since this is such a new toy. I don't have the tray that the figure's packed in there anymore. I tossed that, and I'll probably toss the whole box, honestly. But you can see a nice CGI picture of Cheetor. Really interesting CGI picture of Cheetor on the side there. One interesting thing I wanted to point out, though, is how different the color scheme is on the back of the box. Number one, it says Peruvian Jungle Discovery, so I guess that's probably where all the Maximals are. But look at his color. He almost looks like a foresty green in a way. I mean, I know he's not, but like at a quick glance, that's kind of what you're looking at. And I mean, that's a straight up not the color scheme of the toy. Like, that is a straight up not. I love both colors, honestly. I wouldn't mind seeing this as like some sort of buzzworthy Bumblebee exclusive release or something, because that is a cool color scheme. I would love like a Tigatron repaint of this guy too or something. And we have a CGI render of his robot mode on the side here, and I think that also looks super cool. So I'm assuming that the Studio Series offerings for Rise of the Beast are going to be the more movie-accurate interpretations, since there will be this main line that will also be released, and we have that Cheetor leaked. Here's a picture of it. Excuse me, I don't know the actual source. I just, saw it floating around. So there's the actual picture of this, like, mainline Cheetor we're getting. So if you prefer a more traditional Cheetor, go for that. But for me, I love this design. And, I mean, I'm assuming since it's Studio Series, this is going to be the movie-accurate one. So I don't normally keep these backdrops, because a lot of them kind of repeat, and I don't think I'll ever use them. But since this is my first, like, Rise of the Beast one, and it's kind of jungle-themed, I might actually keep this for now, at least. That looks really cool. I do like the backdrops. I do wish I had space to display all my figures in the backdrops, but unfortunately it's more like they're just crammed together because I have no space. So there's the package for Cheetor. I think it's really cool. One thing I do want to get out of the way is some comparisons with this Cheetor and a few others that I have in my collection. I think I have a pretty decent representation of Cheetors throughout the years. So here is this Voyager class Cheetor. Yes, it's a Voyager actually, which is pretty interesting. First time for Cheetor. So here it is next to Cyberverse Cheetor. So you can see the color scheme is very different. He doesn't have any blue on him. He's much darker, much more realistic and gritty. One design complaint a lot of people have had is that it doesn't have the cheetah head integrated into the chest. I mean, it kind of does. You can almost kind of see those as like the eyes of the cheetah, but it's very vague. And personally, for a live-action design, I prefer this. I think just a big old cheetah head would have looked kind of awkward. I love this design. I genuinely do. Do I miss the blue a little bit? But I think the gunmetal gray really works. I'm just going to be comparing the robot modes, by the way. I unfortunately do not have all day, so I won't be transforming all these other Cheetors. But I just at least wanted to compare their robot modes, because I think it's worth comparing. One nice thing, as you can see, this guy has like almost no kibble. You could kind of consider the tail kibble, but I'll get into why I kind of don't. It's really cool, man. I love this new Cheetor. So there it is with that one. We'll get him off to the side. Then here it is with the one that most of you guys probably already have, if I can actually stand it up. This is the Netflix version with the nice metallic blue of the Kingdom Cheetor. So, I mean, if you like yourself a classic Cheetor, either get that mainline Rise of the Beast one, or just grab this one, you know? It's like, if you don't like this design, you don't have to buy it. But me personally, I love it. I love this design so much. It's so cool. So yeah, you can see it doesn't have the cheetah leg kibble on the back because the front cheetah legs actually just form the robot arms. And I think that works decently well. It does have the tail, again, like I said, but at least, you know, it has a place for it instead of just being this awkward whip weapon on this guy. And again, I do kind of miss the blue a little bit. I do kind of wish he had some metallic blues. But I really like this gunmetal gray. I think it really works for this design and this color. And one last comparison just for laughs. It's not Cheetor, it's the same mold, but it's repainted into Tigatron. Here is the more recent Walmart reissue vintage Tigatron. So you can see he's got quite the chest going on. He's got the big old legs still. Yeah, I love the kind of cheetah chest on the classic design. But for this, I love this design so much. I love the faceplate. There's so much I love about it. Let's get into it. So, first thing I love is just the silhouette. Look at this silhouette, man. It looks fierce. He looks just as, like, muscular and lean and awesome as an actual cheetah. He's like an actual cheetah man. If you get that reference, great. If not, I'm not going to explain it. Someone else will. Yeah, I just love the look. His weapons are super cool. So he has awesome, like, storage in the robot mode for the weapons. And they don't, like, they're not easily pop-offable. Because oftentimes you have a big old stick on the back and you, like, poke it and, like, move it and, like, it easily comes off. But all you have to worry about is this tiny little bit up here. And most of the time you're going to be grabbing it at the body. And it sits really flush, and it just works really well. The only way you're going to knock this off is if you hit this up here. But honestly, I don't really see that happening in, like, natural handling of the guy. So you have these two cool spear weapons, which look very tribal, very beast-like, and I think they look super cool. I mean, look at that. That's really cool. But, on top of that, they can combine into this really cool extendo blade weapon, and I think that's really sweet. Even his weapon's cool. And it's got this awesome silver paint at the tips, and it's got this really cool, like, tribal spike design. I love it, man. I love it. So I mentioned the tail and how, like, in one way it is kibble, but in another way, like, you look at this guy from the back, and it almost looks like his spine, you know? It almost has, like, this spinal design to it. Now, yes, it does extend a little further down than it probably should to be his spine. But I mean, this is a transforming toy of a giant cheetah man. You know, I'm not expecting perfection here. But still, even if you want to have the tail down, if you want to actually give him a tail, you can do that. Yeah, it's cool. This is pretty much the only piece of kibble is this butt flap, but honestly, it doesn't really impact the silhouette much at all. I think it looks great. It has, like, no kibble otherwise. I love the look of the back, and especially the chest. I love this chest. I know some people don't. Some people are like, oh, I wish it had the cheetah head on it, but I'm fine the way it is. I love the speckling paint. I think it looks really cool. I do wish it extended down to the shins, as well as a little bit on his head. Just a little bit would have been nice. But still, I think, you know, having it on the arms, thighs, and the chest gives you a pretty good idea of the fact that, yes, he is a cheetah man. Oh, it's so cool. I love this color. I love the gunmetal. I love it, man. Look at the shoulders. Look at that design. That's so cool. Even on the back, I think the design's really sweet. Because this is actually going to be exposed in the beast mode. The arms look really cool. You have these panels on the side. And, I mean, this is going to, obviously, this is pretty much all the transformation for the cheetah arm and the robot arm. Like, there's not much. But number one, I think it's pretty effective if you can ignore the hand sticking off there. But, I mean, we've had worse. But I really think the claws of the cheetah forming these, like, Wolverine-like spikes for the robot just look really cool. Ah, man, and I love this head sculpt. It's not super traditional Cheetor, right? You know, he's got this battle mask. He's got these big old eyebrows, but you can still see some Cheetor in that, you know? You can still tell, like, yes, this is an interpretation of Cheetor. It's so cool. The legs, he looks so cool, man. And his articulation's really nice. I love these knee pads. His feet are really nice because they have this really great tilt and a nice little bit of toe articulation that's genuinely effective. So using that toe articulation and that ankle pivot, you know, we can get him standing in some pretty dynamic poses. I would say some of the only limited articulation is going to be at the waist. But even then, you know, it still works. It's just something you kind of have to work with. So yeah, you can see, look at that. That's a cool pose. This guy's so sweet. So let's talk about that articulation because, you know, he can move. He's a robot. So his head's on a nice ball joint. Get a little tilt side to side for some personality. A little bit up and down. Definitely more down than up, which is kind of cool since they went for making the beasts all big and cool. So I kind of like that. I like that they're bigger in this movie instead of smaller like in the actual Beast Wars show. The shoulders are really cool. So he's got shoulder pads up here, right? And he's got a swivel as well as this hinge. So he has like two different ways that his arms move up. So they move up really far. And the shoulder pads get out of the way really well. That's just so effective, man. I love it. He's got a bicep swivel. His elbows only go 90 degrees, but that's okay. Wrist swivel. So the waist is an issue because you do have this butt flap to work with. So if the butt flap is perfectly flat, that's all you're going to get. But if you do lift it up, you do have a lot more motion. So it's up to you what you kind of want to do with that. But hey, it works. It functions. The legs move forward, move out really far. Thigh swivel. Knee bend's a little disappointing at only 90 degrees. I wish it would have gone a little bit more. And you already saw the foot articulation. It's really effective. So I love this guy. I'm very impressed with it. I think it looks cool. I think it poses great. I think he's super sweet. He is already a contender for one of my favorite Transformers figures of 2023. And we're just in like mid-February. So yeah, I'm loving it. And obviously, look at that pose, man. It's so cool. So because it is a Transformer, let's transform it, I guess. So we'll take the weapons out. And it's pretty simple, too. I mean, it's a Cheetor transformation. So the torso does this really cool thing where it like splits both ways. That's super cool. Flip the head in. Then we'll flip the cheetah head out. And the cheetah head's also looking really cool. Flip this little collar for the cheetah head out. And then we'll flip the torso back in. We'll flip the shoulders in, but not all the way. We want a little bit of space for the cheetah head to tab in. Arms, get those panels to the back. And then pretty much flip this down. And then the cheetah head has these tabs that'll tab into the shoulders. And one cool thing is because it's tabbing into the shoulder pads and not the shoulders. Yes, it does limit the articulation a little bit, but you still have some. You still have some forward arm articulation. Because that's one thing with a lot of, big cat Transformers. The articulation's never going to be the greatest. But I think they did a pretty decent job integrating it here. I think they are pretty commendable with what they did. So the legs, you'll bend them down, and then awesomely, the shins will go up to thicken the thighs, because, it's a big cat. They've got those big, strong back thighs. And then put that in. Have them down just enough to tab in that back plate. Then the tail, you got a couple hinges, which is cool, so you can pose that around a little bit. And basically, you just hinge this into position. And then, we're pretty much there. Flip the feet up, and those kind of conform really well. And then if you want, you can take these and put them on his back if you just want to have the weapons on him. But they do look a little awkward up there just with these big spikes. But you can kind of see it as like little cannons sticking on his back, so it's up to you. Me personally, I don't really like beast mode weapon storage, so I'll probably just leave those off whenever I have them in beast mode. But speaking of beast mode, here we are. Here is Rise of the Beast Cheetor in his beast mode. And I love it. It looks really good. I don't know what else to say, man. It's really nice. The Cheetah isn't a groundbreaking alt mode. It doesn't really do anything too significant and too special from others that we've already seen. The articulation's still kind of limited. And you kind of got like a rotation at the head. You have an opening jaw, which is really nice. I love the design of the head, by the way. I kind of like how they went for like this cyber beast look. Because having them be realistic beasts that transform would have just looked awkward. I mean, look at original Beast Wars. It looked pretty awkward sometimes. I mean, look at this. It's literally just a cheetah's head on a chest. It's cool. for the 90s, and it's cool today in a certain way. I still love it, but this for like a live action movie in 2023, this is the way to go. The articulation in the front, you can see you got a little bit, still have the elbows, still have the wrists. So you can still kind of have them like pouncing if you want, but because you don't really have a lot of outward at the arms, you can kind of move it just a little bit. You know, he is going to look a little stiff up front. He's going to look a little stiff, but it's not too bad. And then kind of have him sitting, I guess, because you can move those claws a little bit in front of the hands. You know, maybe kind of position these in a way, but then again, the articulation back here is also pretty self-explanatory. Awesomely, you still do retain the pivot, but because you can't really move the front too much, you're kind of left with some awkward poses. Like, it's a little awkward, but I mean, cats make that pose, you know? It's like he's pouncing on something. I mean, you can't get a lot of running poses. I mean, you kind of can, but it's a big cat transformer. It does what big cat transformers do. This mode is not groundbreaking. It's not extraordinary, but it's successful. I mean, it does the job. It transforms like pretty much every other Cheetor does, articulates like pretty much every other Cheetor does. I feel like they could have done a little bit more, but I'm still pretty happy with it. So there we go, guys. There is Rise of the Beast, big old cheetah man. Love it, love it, love it. If the other figures in this line are going to be just as good as this, I cannot wait. A lot of them have leaked when it comes to pictures. And hey, with mine, you know, I got this today. I got this on February 13th. And I'm hoping I can get it out tomorrow. And I should be getting RC, the little, I was about to say scout class, but it's not scout class anymore. The little core class, should be getting that Wednesday. So I might do a video on that as well. It's exciting times, man. I love that this stuff's kind of trickling out. I just hope we get like a street date for Rise of the Beast stuff, like, you know, within the next few months. Like, everything's going to be in stores on this day. Fingers crossed. I love street dates for new Transformers movies, but we'll see. If for all I know, with modern toys nowadays, they'll probably just trickle out. But I can't wait. I don't know if I'm all in on Studio Series and the main line, but I'm at least all in on Studio Series. I'm very excited for this movie. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Special shout out to the channel members as well. Thank you all so much for the continued support. If you want to see tons of videos early, some exclusive videos, exclusive posts and things, consider becoming a channel member. You don't have to, but it really does help me out. Alrighty, guys, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.